Earlier this year, we reported that Amazon had overtaken Disney Plus and Hulu for the first time for streaming numbers. Amazon had put itself now in contention with Netflix. All alone, those two up atop the mountain, Disney Plus falling down, down, down. So what are you to do with all that success? Well, put out a cartoon celebrating Satan, of course. Hello, folks. Welcome to the Pro Channel. Happy to have each and every one of you out there. It is a glorious day to have Steve of Floral from Under a Rock and Tommy Tables, who leads so much of our member-exclusive content, joining us today. Welcome to you both, gentlemen.
Hello.
Thank you.
That's right. Guys, Amazon overtook Disney Plus and Hulu, and we reported on that. We had all the articles. We talked about it. It was a big deal. Disney falling down, others rising up. Jeff Bezos had to be happy. And then they decided to do, well, this. In response to their sudden success, they're working very hard to snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory, to switch that around. Prime Video is all in today with the Hazbin Hotel. It says down here below in Prime Video's description of all of Prime Video right now, it's a happy day in hell. Hazbin Hotel is now streaming. And so folks might say, well, what is Hazbin Hotel? And, well, we would love to show you what it is. Unfortunately, we'll have to do this a little bit frame by frame, simply because, folks, we don't want to get in trouble with copyright. But Prime Video is posting this, and it's going all over social media. Heaven and hell like you've never seen them before. Here is the opening scene of Hazbin Hotel, premiering Friday on Prime Video. Friday being today, of course. So
before you hit that, I just think it's funny that this is also right on the heels after it's been announced that Amazon Prime is going to be launching into the territory of faith content.
Oh, you just didn't get the faith right. This is the faith.
They never specified which faith.
There was a glowing city, protected by golden gates, known as heaven. It was ruled by angels that worshipped good, not God, of course. Mm-hmm. Although they do have some very interesting depictions of those angels,
which is clearly based on Revelation. Right?
Exactly.
So
this is squarely biblical. This is squarely Christian, except I would say it's squarely anti-Christian. And shielded all from evil, Lucifer was one. He was a dreamer with fantastical ideas for all of creation, a troublemaker by the elders of heaven, thinking he was dangerous, yada, 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 yada. And so the angels are bad. They kick him out. He goes and they go into this lore, which is Jewish mysticism, that the idea that Eve was not the first in the story of Genesis, but rather there was this other woman named Lilith. And
which, do you mind if because I had done some research for a previous sermon that I had preached, and so I had to look into this whole topic of who Lilith was before. So thankfully, I'm not going into this blind on this. But it all comes out of Isaiah 34, where the passage, if you kind of go for like a word-for-word translation, says, "The desert creatures will meet with hyenas, and wild goats will bleat to each other. There the night creatures will also lie down and find themselves places of rest." So that word night creatures, which is again Isaiah chapter 34 verse 14, translates to Lilith. And literally no one knows what that word actually means. So it might be an owl or like a nocturnal animal. That's kind of like the prevalent belief, but it also could be like loaned from Babylonian lore to just kind of set up. So if it does mean a demon in that passage, that's what that's talking about, whatever, it doesn't actually change the context. However, there's absolutely zero context of creation, zero context of Adam. So it's just literally taking something and reading into this one word that no one actually really knows what it means, and dumping all of that and extrapolating that into this.
So I guess what I would say to folks out there is that this is definitively based on the premise and the designs and all of that. This is definitively Judeo-Christian. It's definitively anti-Judeo-Christian, and it's definitively it's definitively stupid, because here's the situation, guys. We're here to talk about entertainment, explain it, keep people ahead of the culture curve, and talk about the financial analysis of all this stuff. I don't care if this is a children's show or an adult's cartoon. It seems to be an adult's cartoon. the idea that you suddenly vault yourself into second place, as Disney creators do to wokeism, and this is what you come up with as the thing to be celebrated, well, it's utterly stupid. I mean, look at this. And this is what is being celebrated, and of course they strike the word God out of it, all of it. I get the idea of being edgy, but even South Park does this better. South Park at least has the devil be bad. The idea that you're going to invert what many people, maybe a third, maybe a half of the planet believe that Lucifer, that Satan is a real entity out there, the embodiment of pure evil, the worst things that you can possibly imagine that humans do to one another. Think of all the horrific atrocities in history, and that they ascribe that character to being the embodiment of all that, and you're going to celebrate that from a marketing standpoint. That's utterly stupid. Tommy, tell me why exactly do you think that Amazon would want to play around with another Cuties kind of situation that Netflix had?
Well, I think because they probably feel that it's safe. Taking what Steve said, the concept of Lilith has been kind of around North American culture for quite a while, to the point where even up here in Canada, they had something called the Lilith Fair as like a strong, powerful, independent women's type of event. And so the thing with this is that I would say that, looking at the description of Hazbin Hotel, I'm not familiar with it. And I read up on what the synopsis of this show is. It's gone for 5 seasons. And it's basically about the princess of hell, like Lucifer's daughter, opening up a rehab hotel to offer demons a chance at redemption and going up to heaven. And so that on its face sounds like it could be a bit of an interesting tale. But
it's tricky but doable.
It's tricky but doable. But then to do this, to sort of double down on the fact that not only is Satan misunderstood, but going with the trope of, behind every strong man, there's a stronger woman, probably not the best look here.
They picked the wrong place to have girl boss. That's right, folks.
The girl boss of Satan, basically.
They finally reached the culmination of the girl boss trope, which is girl boss rules hell. We agree. Yeah. We agree.
So what you're saying is Satan's tail is actually the belt off of his pants that she took off and put on, and so he's just left there hanging on.
Ouch. Well, let's take a look now at how this is going, guys. And this is what the purpose of the video is, because we try to assess, are these good decisions? Are these bad decisions for these companies? Because when these edgelords, when these Hollywood, elites, these anti-Christian, anti-Judeo kind of characters, they would never do this with the Muslim faith. They're so afraid to do anything related to this because there's danger in it. And so because they really, can't do it with one, they'll do it with the one that they don't have to worry about reprisals. Now, but there are reprisals. There's massive financial reprisals, and these companies empower these nitwits to do this sort of thing without thinking about, okay, well, what's going to be the market reaction? And so I want to show you what the market reaction is currently. Now, remember, let's go back to this very quickly. What is Amazon Prime Video celebrating today? On their banner, in their text, it's this, pro-Satan cartoon. So let's look and see what the reaction is from people. We've got, I can promise you that praising Lucifer is not the flex you think it is. God won't be mocked. You've got Mike Beck dropping a Bible verse. You've got J. Chase Davis saying abomination. You've got Caro saying canceling Prime over this. Tara Lynn Thompson says, Hollywood, we are not devil worshippers. How absurd. Also, Hollywood, check out this new show where the devil is the unsung hero. And this just keeps going. Nathan says, blasphemous, disgusting, abomination. I mean, there's almost nothing in here that is positive about this show. Almost nothing. It is almost universally condemning and bad.
I really like that one comment where it says Satanism plus Powerpuff Girls.
Where was that at? Yes, Jewish mysticism plus Powerpuff Girls plus a wee too much feminism equals the mashup nobody expected or wanted.
I love that.
I mean, listen, this just doesn't. Okay, here's the first one that is positive. Hazbin Hotel is coming. Soon the doors will open and the road to redemption and repentance begins. I don't know what that means. Maybe that's positive. Maybe that's positive.
That's
I'm canceling
probably
my Prime subscription today.
Yeah.
This is vile. Is Lucifer really that bad? I mean, all he wants is to destroy every last one of us. I mean, this is, oh my gosh. Essentially, guys, here's the thing. Is it worth it? When they did the risk assessment or the risk analysis, if they did one at all, if they did the market assessment, is it worth it? I know, there's probably a way to do this, but in light of the fact you just took second place and you just watched Disney crater, and that's what gave you the chance to do this, why?
Well,
why?
I think that, and I think Tommy and I have talked about this before at some point, but the Golden Compass, right? That was kind of the first Hollywood attempt to breach into this field. And it just never goes over well, right? And that's what's interesting, right? Our culture never actually buys into it. So innately, everyone just kind of just goes like, weird. Some people might be interested, whatever, and just be able to look through the edgelord, but it's nothing new trying to do this. And so I think this is just their attempt, and I'm sure they think it's funny. They would all claim to probably be none of these people would be Satanists, none of them would be Christians or Jewish, but they're all probably atheists, whatever that.
I don't know. They might be the best Satanists around at this point. I mean,
well, yeah,
you couldn't promulgate this any better.
It's true, but it's just I'm just saying that to say there's nothing new. So,
Tommy, your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I think that's, Steve kind of hit the nail on the head there. This was probably a case of, and this isn't just a tweet, first of all, right? Like, this is
full blown.
This is a production that went through writers, directors, animators, executives, financiers, marketers, promoters, like everyone, like there's an entire organization behind this. So it's not like somebody, just accidentally threw this up there and said, hey, yeah, we're making, we're showing Satan to be misunderstood. I think it's a case of, again, the bit of a Hollywood bubble. They probably overestimated how many atheists are out there. To be fair, I did send that clip to somebody that I know, another parent, and their response was, "Oh, wow, that looks awesome." So there is I think there is an audience for this, but I just don't think it's as big or as quote unquote progressive as they thought it was. And this will come back to bite them on the butt if it hasn't already, because there are still quite a lot of people who don't ascribe to the theory that, Satan was just a misunderstood nice guy.
Well, here's the thing, Tommy. When you're looking at marketing a product, it's very seldom. Well, number one, let's start at the positive side of this. Your product should have an audience. Right. And clearly, there have been a few times when I'm not sure what the audience was, i.e. Star Wars, but and we're not talking about the George Lucas version, but but then also, if you don't capture that audience, you don't want to create a net negative, because when you create a product, you don't want to have a tremendous amount of people who are offended and who might leave your company over said product. And it's very rare that those sorts of products exist. But when they do, you have to have an extremely strong imbalance in terms of the ratio of people who want the product versus those who are going to be offended by it. Because if it's anywhere close to even, you failed, you lost, don't put the product out. Seems to me that this is lopsided in the opposite way tremendously. As you said, there might be some people out there who are interested and say, oh, it looks cute. There's probably, 5 times that who look at it and say, cancel, I'm out, I'm done, no more Amazon for me.
I'm going to push back on that, though.
Go for it.
People aren't going to cancel this. And we all know the reason why, right? They don't want to give up that shipping. So Amazon...
that's great.
Amazon
yes, you're exactly right, Steve.
They have nothing to lose. They don't care, right? They're not going to financially lose from this. That it's whatever, right? The only thing that's going to happen is it'll be a waste of money because no one's going to watch it. That's the reality. So for them to dive in, that's whatever. But like Netflix, they actually did take a hit from Cuties, right? So, which obviously that's where you're going to go. So,
well, let me show this, because I want to demonstrate how miscalculated all of this is in terms of the way that Hollywood looks at these things. So this is out of Variety, and this is all the way back in 2020 by Todd Spangler. Cuties controversy, surge in Netflix cancellations with short-lived data shows. And I want to show how this is just flatly wrong. Of course, Cuties was when Netflix decided they wanted to cast minors in the role of something that was, I consider, obscene, extraordinarily inappropriate, and empowering to the worst people in society. And so just an atrocious thing. It's, in fact, Netflix just finished wrapping up, and they came away victorious by the skin of their chinny chin chin, but they or the hair of their chinny chin chin, but they almost took a loss in a lawsuit out of Texas over this show still to this day. And you don't want to be facing lawsuits, because if you're facing lawsuits and having to pay all those legal fees, you've already lost if you're Netflix. So I want to go down here to this chart though, because the idea that this article suggests, and folks, it's in the link is in the description if you want to go read the entire article. The thesis behind it is that, well, the cancellations were short-lived, therefore the Cuties had no real impact. And if you go down here and look, no, that's not actually true, because you had this massive cancellation spike where you lost a huge number of customers. Just because it went back to a normal cancellation level, that doesn't mean that losing that massive number of folks is a good thing, right? You don't want to lose anywhere from 5 to 8 times of a weekly cancellation number all in one single week. That's insanity. And so those folks, where did they leave from? Well, we've got this information here. They left from places like Idaho. They left from places like Utah. They left from places like Oklahoma and Tennessee and Nebraska, even Maine. And so if you look at that, you got to say, well, that spike didn't come back. Maybe they did years later, but you really don't want to see a spike like that. And disregarding a spike like that is, I think, a dumb thing. When it comes to Amazon Prime Video, you're right, Steve. They're inoculated a little bit by the fact that people are desperate to have that free shipping, and people separate Amazon Prime Video in their mind. But here's where I think the cost comes in for Amazon, because you're exactly right. The paradigm's different here. The cost, I think, that comes in is people might say, I want to keep my shipping, and I'm going to disassociate from Amazon Prime Video. Now, here's where it gets interesting. If people see this show, and if it becomes, we're covering it right now. Others, I'm sure, are going to cover it all day long, because this is breaking. Mm-hmm. If social media takes off with this thing, you could see a number of people who say, I'm going to keep my free shipping, but screw Amazon Prime Video. I'm not going over there. I don't trust my kids to go over there anymore. And if that happens, okay, well, you're not in the running with Netflix any longer, which just scrapped its way back from the Cuties controversy and kept first place. Disney currently muddled down and being destroyed by all this junk. Amazon Prime Video could be in a situation where in 3 months, 4 months, we're sitting here reporting Disney Plus back in second place, and it's just a stupid risk.
It's like there's this collective gun, and each one of these companies is passing it around to shoot themselves in their foot.
Russian roulette.
All right, guys, we did good. Let's knock ourselves back out again. Here's the hacksaw. Chop our legs off again.
So I would just say, though, like it's you kind of alluded to this a few moments ago in talking about the Cuties stuff, right? But there is that level of hypocrisy, right? Because there's those people that, like, if you find out that my family is subscribed to Disney Plus, even in spite of like the fact that I'll make fun of Disney and stuff, right? People kind of judge me for it. They're like, "What? You're subscribed to Disney?" Well, we canceled because of Netflix, because of the whole Cuties thing, and we've never gone back to Netflix. But all of those people that online that I followed several years ago, so present company excluded, they all were like, "You need to cancel Netflix over Cuties," but they're all bragging about One Piece 3 months ago. So these things, people will just bounce back because they're going to gravitate.
I agree, but it takes time.
It does.
Time is money. So if your customer comes back in a year, okay, cool. But that's also a year that you didn't have your customer there watching your stuff and supporting your stuff and seeing the advertisements. That's an entire year of losing ground. And so, these companies that assess that losing customers for a year or 2 years or whatever it is, that's a non-negative. That's a stupid way of thinking. I'm going to give you the final word on this.
Well, thanks. Because I wanted to go in a bit of a different direction with this, and I agree.
Tommy's ready to say, "You're wrong, pro. You're stupid, pro."
I would never say that. Come now, I'm a happy table.
All right, happy table. What do you got?
Well, so yes, I agree fully that in terms of like the financial hit, it would basically be a blip on Amazon's radar. At the same time, though, I would say that the reputational hit, while it might be minimal, shouldn't be underestimated or ignored. And I'm saying that just because of the fact that Amazon is trying to position itself as the everything company, and they're constantly fighting this label of big bad evil corporation, right? Like they're trying to get
I'm so glad you brought this up. That's a great angle.
And so they're trying to get, themselves into your home. Like you're already ordering stuff online.
Smiley face boxes.
Yeah. Smiley face. Exactly. And, Amazon Alexa, they want the smart homes in there. They want Alexa to be able to lull you to sleep with talk about Black Friday deals and whatnot. And so to do something like this and to alienate people and just to even associate the name of Amazon with Satan does not do them any favors, right?
Especially when they got their logo.
There's very few products. Very few products who are like, you know what? Let's make sure we associate with Satan. Let's do that.
So again, it's this little step-by-step thing. It's not going to happen overnight, but gradually, if they keep sort of doubling down on this and keep putting stuff out like this, it'll just come to the point where people will be like, yeah, you know what? I've made a deal with the devil to have my shipping for free, but I'd rather not enjoy their content.
I'd rather make a deal with the devil, but not also make a deal literally with the devil by watching the show. Exactly. And folks, we're not here to be prudes. We're not here to tell you what to watch, what not to enjoy. We gave you the theological backing on what this show is to a very small extent. We could go deeper. But the financial analysis, I think, is really where the news is right now, because this is just utterly stupid. There's no point to this risk. You could sink this kind of investment into any kind of show and have a better return, and with no negatives. So why would you not make a show that doesn't potentially cost you, even if it's small, a subset of customers for a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever? It's crazy. But I want to thank Steve and Tommy for stopping by. Steve, I know I've held you over a little bit longer than we had anticipated, so thank you for hanging with us. Folks, you can hang with us as well by clicking that like button, share, subscribe, and when you click it, you stick it to the algorithms. It's the notification bell. Drop a comment down below and let us know your thoughts. Tell us, are we going too far with this? Are we not? Are you going to cancel your Amazon Prime, or are you going to stop using Amazon Prime Video? Even more importantly, folks, and this is really what we want to know, do you now trust Amazon Prime Video less for your kids to watch it? That is very interesting. All right, folks, that's it for today. We have a huge video coming up later this afternoon about Nelson Peltz going after Bob Iger and the board of Disney. We've got new stuff. We're here to tell you about it. It's going to be absolutely on fire. The proxy war is on. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
Hey everyone, I'm Wilton the Troll, and I got a really important PAS. I just feel it's important to take a moment to reflect on the current slate of Star Wars movie. I mean, we haven't had a woman take the lead on any Star Wars projects whatsoever in Star Wars yet. And that's partly because other women who are leading Star Wars, they don't want to let that happen, which totally isn't stereotypical of women. Am I right, ladies? But here we are, with director Charmin Abinadab Chinook or something. Anyway, she's a woman who's bringing a lot of weight to Star Wars because of her, pedigree. And yes, it's time for a woman to lead Star Wars. I mean, saying that has totally worked in every other sphere of life, especially politics. Come on, Hillary Clinton, you tell them that it's time for a woman to smash that patriarchy. Anyway, that's all I have to say, and I think it's important for you to know that. Thank you.